very good evening to my supervisor, Dr. Lee Nongkian, and to the other examiner, Dr. Cynthia and Dr. Chu. So for today I will be presenting FYP 1, which is my title for this FYP is Sign Language Learning Web Application with Visualization. So let's have a brief introduction on my final year project. So why did I choose a sign language learning web application for my final year project? So basically, based on my observation, sign language proficiency among Malaysian hearing population, especially in Sarawak, remains low, and the accessibility is still limited and social inclusion for the deaf community. So this means in Sarawak, based on my observation, people who know some basic sign language is really low. And then the sign language is rarely included in formal education curriculum and thus in creating ongoing communication barrier. So throughout my learning process from year 1 until degree, I haven't found any sign language class in the curriculum or extra classes. And then existing online platform still rely on passive video learning, lacking interaction, feedback, and supervision. So moving on to the problem statement. So the communication gap still exists between hearing community and deaf or hard of hearing community. So, for example, based on my observation, usually when all of us having dinner or lunch in any restaurant or any food stall, usually there will be a salesman who is deaf or hard of hearing will try to communicate with you or with us. So basically, sometimes we may have a problem communicating with them. So we can see that there's still a communication gap between us. And then, secondly, current learning resources do not offer real-time feedback. So what I observe in Malaysia or any platform that is made by Malaysian, most of the sign language class or resources is still in a video format, mostly in YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. So the current learning resource do not offer any interactive system or any instantaneous real-time feedback. And finally, sign language exposure is still limited in Malaysia, especially in Sarawak. Like I I assume that most of us and most of our contact doesn't know any basic sign languages. So my aim and objective for this project is to design and develop an interactive and publicly accessible web application. And then secondly, I want to implement a text-to-sign translator with visualization using a module that uses 2D visualization. So for example, a GIF, animation, or a short video. And then I want I want to build an engaging e-learning environment, like a real-time interactive features and a gamified learning elements. And then finally, I want to substitute passive video-based tutorial. So moving on to my project scope. So the first one is I want to implement a web-based sign language platform that's accessible for public. So it will be fully free and open source. And then the second scope is the platform offer searchable vocabulary of signs, languages, and interactive gamified feature. So basically there will be a dictionary page. So in there, the user could freely search any words they wanted to know what the sign will be, and the platform is has a fully gamified features. And then the third one, I want to offer a real-time translator from sign to text, text to sign, and then the extra translator is video to text and voice to sign. And then finally, I want to provide a lesson plan restricted to the fundamental of sign language. So that means my platform highly focuses on basic building a fundamental sign language for all. So the website, I will not offer any lesson plan that is very complicated. So I will teach user just the basic sign that can be used daily life. So moving on to the methodology for my project. So for this project, I will be using the most well-known method, which is the system development lifecycle, merging with an agile method, which encourages me to better flexibility and quick prototyping. So the first phase will be the planning phase. So in this phase, I will be indicates the project aim, scope, and deliverable. So um, a critical feasibility analysis is conducted to validate two core technical approaches, which is I will be evaluating any open source API that I can use for my project. So basically, I want to focus an API that can help me to use for my text to sign translation feature. And then I want to assess the computational resources required to train a machine learning model. And then this planning phase also involve identifying the necessary tools that I should be using to implement this project. And then moving on to the analysis phase. So in the analysis phase, uh, the system requirements are gathered and analyzed, including functional needs such as a real-time sign-to-text translator, dictionary lookup, and gamified element. The process involves reviewing the documentation of selected open source API to ensure it supports the necessary vocabulary for visualization, while simultaneously collecting and analyzing open source dataset. So basically, I will focus more for my website to teach user American Sign Language, because American Sign Language is nearly similar with BIM, Bahasa Isyarat Malaysia. So I will prepare a robust training set for the recognition model. And then for non-functional requirements such as usability, accessibility for younger user, and system performance are also evaluated during this stage. So moving on to the design phase. So the design phase focus on establishing the system architecture, database schema, and the REST API structure. And then the flow architecture is designed to manage the retrieval of video bundles from external API and for visualization and the processing of webcam input for the machine learning model. For my project, there will be also a selected theme for my UI UX wireframe. So I will ensure the interface is suitable for public use based on the questionnaire that will be explained after this. So moving on to the implementation phase. So for the implementation phase, the system is developed in iterative sprint method. So basically it's an agile method. So to allowing feature to be built and refined incrementally. This involves two parallel development tracks. So the first one is training the machine learning and fine-tuning the machine learning model. So it is really important to accurately analyze user gesture and integrating the external API to render sign language video seamlessly. Okay, so moving on to the testing phase. So the testing phase ensures system reliability through unit integration and system testing conducted throughout each sprint. And then this also tests the API responses for my sign to text feature and text to sign feature too. And then a full system testing is performed along with usability testing involving selected user to assess the effectiveness of the translation feature and overall user experience. And finally, for the deployment phase. So in this phase, I will deploy uh, the system into a suitable hosting platform to allow for public access and demonstration, and then the project will conclude and I will provide a manual book to teach user on how to use it and making a report for the final FYP. What inspired me to implement this project is from these three existing systems. So I chose Duolingo, Lingvano, and SignMT by Nagish. Because this tree system is has a few similarity that I can use for my inspiration for this project. So for Duolingo, as we all know, it is a multilingual language learning app. Just that it doesn't have a sign language. And then Duolingo is heavy gamified element, so and it is really suitable for my project because that is my goal to make a gamified platform, learning platform. And then Duolingo also has a leveling system. And then, as we all know too, the Duolingo has a high usage rate from user because of its gamified element. And then Duolingo also has a guidebook for user before attempting the quiz. And then for Lingvano, the orange logo, uh, it is it is literally similar with Duolingo. It's just that it doesn't offer multilingual language. It specifically offers sign language only. But compared to Duolingo, Lingvano has less gamified element, and then it also has a leveling system, and the most important thing, it contains a sign language dictionary, which is really helpful for user to search a specific word. And finally, for Sign MT by Nagesh. So this is basically not a learning platform. It's just an open source translator for sign to text and text to sign. It is really helpful for me because it could be useful in terms of the usage of model analysis and the algorithm for my project. And then secondly, uh, for the text to sign feature, it uses skeletal figure animation to translate it. But the downside is the sign to text feature is buggy. So I will be try my best to solve this problem for my project so that the sign to text feature can be used properly. And then finally, it also support video upload translator, which is video that contains sign language to text. And then it also provide voice to sign translator. So how will it relate with my project? So from Duolingo, I will apply the gamified element for my project, and then I will use the leveling system, and also I want to add a guidebook in my project so it's easier for user to learn before attempting the project. And then for the gamified element, it is really suitable for younger audience, and not only younger audience, also all audience with different ages. And then from Lingvano, I will add the dictionary feature for my project. And then it uh it is really suitable for my project because Lingvano uh specifically focus on sign language only. So it is really it is really suitable for my preference and my inspiration for doing this project. And then it also inspired the lesson plan for my project. So basically, I will take a few lesson plan, the syllabus from inside from the project, from Lingvano to my project, because it is suitable for user to start learn. And then finally, for sign MT by Nagesh, I will add the sign to text translator and text to sign translator. And then I also wanted to add the video that contains sign languages that user can upload and directly translate it into text. And then the voice to sign also I wanted to add in my project. And then finally, I wanted to try solving the bug problem regarding text to sign translator in the sign MT platform. Okay, so moving on to the model analysis and algorithm for the sign to text feature. So basically, I will use the machine learning model, specifically a transfer learning model. So transfer learning model is a rapid progress and optimized method. So basically, it is a process for the model to train itself repeatedly until it could familiarize itself, and they could predict what is the expected outcome. So basically, we feed the model with a bundle of image for specific sign. So for example, I will feed the model with thank you sign, like 50 images for example. So the model will learn itself and familiarize the picture, and then so when the user uh, show the sign through the webcam, the model can translate it accurately. So based on the research by this woman, it said that more image can make the model give more accurate result. And then for the model analysis and algorithm for text to sign or voice to sign feature, uh, the program maps a textual text to visual output using a linear retrieval based logic. So the system will examine a database, which is the API that I will retrieve, and it will examine the database of sign language resources for each word in the transcribed text. So if a certain word is included in the library, the algorithm finds and plays the relevant GIF or video. So if it is not inside the API, it will spell out the word using a finger spelling mode. So which divide the word into letter and show the static hand sign graphic for each letter in turn. This guarantee that every spoken word may be represent graphically either by writing it out or using a direct letters. So I have provided a few questionnaire based on three different POV, which are the public POV, young adults, and deaf community. So in each POV, I will just analyze and present the most important question may that could be reliable for my project. So in public POV, I chose the first question, which is the single biggest reason why most hearing people don't learn at least a few basic signs. So basically, from the few answers from the community, they said that, like for example, there's one that the person said kerana kurang pendedahan dari awal pendidikan. So based from that answer, we can tell that sign language is not really focused in any school inside the curriculum. And then the second one is bahasa isyarat agak susah untuk dipelajari. So that means that most of the sign language resources from the website or any video such as YouTube may be less interactive and really passive for them. So it's uh, that could make them bored out so fast that they don't want to learn it and they assume that it is hard. And then another answer it is lack of exposure. So this means that in Malaysia or specifically in Sarawak, there are less exposure that basic sign language is really important for us to learn to use as a common knowledge for us. And then another answer that I found is they said that they they don't have enough time. So basically no time. And then most of the people the person who said no time, I assume that they don't have time to watch a whole bunch of video about the sign language. So basically for my project, uh, maybe for he or she could have time to learn because my project can be a fun and interactive, and then it is an instantaneous feedback. So basically it could be helpful for him or her to learn sign language. And then moving on to the second question, do you agree that making such a tool available for free without registration would encourage more people to try it? So in this current era, most of the learning platform or any other platform, most of them are locked behind a paywall. So most of the respondents agree with me that a free platform can be a very helpful place and encourage people to try learn basic sign language. So moving on to the requirement analysis for young adults POV. So based on my analysis, half of the respondents said that the most engaging learning style is an interactive apps or quizzes. And then the second question is what makes a less interactive educational website and what feature that make it fun. So I take a few answers from the question. So the feature that makes it boring is that the theme is too much minimalistic and black and white only theme. That makes the apps boring, and then the information doesn't relate with real life situation, and then the website is not real doesn't have gamified elements. And then what makes the learning application fun? So they wanted a gamified element. So for example, achievement, strict progress, and then instantaneous feedback, and then uh, encouragement words like if for example if you answered correctly it will say congratulations, you give an correct answer. And then the information is short but really comprehensive. And then finally for the deaf community, for in the requirement analysis, so for the first question, what is the common problem or misunderstanding they face when communicating with hearing people? So the hearing people sometimes does not know how to respond when attempting sign language. And then the other person said, if they try to sell some product, the people tend to ignore because they will having a hard time to talk with he or she, and then maybe searching, maybe, and then she or he wanted that maybe teach the hearing community some few alphabet could be very helpful for them. And then sometimes they cannot answer my question their question, and they will take too long to type in their phone. So I think they didn't want the awkward silent moment in between when communicating with the hearing people. And then for the second question, uh, if you could ask hearing teenager and young adults to learn just 5 or until 10 specific word or phrases, what could they be? So they wanted, highly recommended the hearing community to learn hello, okay, what are you doing, what do you eat, goodbye, how much, what is the price, and then the ABC 0 until 9, and then you can say hello, goodbye, what are you doing, and then your hobby and your family. Okay, so for the final one, I will be explaining the framework design from left to right. So the left one is the home page of my project. So in here, I will give a definition, a brief advantages of learning sign language, and my brief introduction of my project. And then the middle one will be the label page. So the label page will basically a level system where the user will start learning from level 1 until the latest level. So the next level will be locked, and the user have to finish the previous level to move to carry on. So that's how the system will work. It is basically a game feature. And then the right one is the practice page. So the practice page will basically the translator page. So in this page, the user can practice um, the sign to text translation, the text to sign, video to text, and then voice to sign. Then the for this one, the left one will be the dictionary page. So the user can just input the word that they want to search, and the video or GIF will be outputted to show the sign for the specific word, and the English definition will be also shown below. And then I will also make a separate dictionary which is specifically for letter and number 2. So in this dictionary page, there will be buttons of A, B, C until Z and 0 until 9. So basically the user just have to choose what letter or number they want to know the sign is. And then the right one will be the profile page. So basically it's just a basic profile page that show the username, Gmail, and any achievement or streak that they wanted to look. And then the bottom one will be the also a profile page, but if they haven't logged in or registered. And then moving on to the chapter page. So basically this is the guidebook that I mentioned before. So before the user attempt the quiz, they have to learn and read through the chapter page. And then the right one will be the quiz page. So basically this will be the framework for the quiz page. It consists of objective, or maybe the quiz we wanted the user to attempt a sign through webcam, and then maybe the quiz will be showing a video of a sign, and then the user have to choose what the word is. And then finally this will be the basic framework for the account, a bundle of account page. So the top one will be the create account page, and then the below left, bottom left will be the edit profile page, and the bottom right will be the login page. So these are the references that I use. There are 6 references that I read, I research, and learn throughout the semester. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.